back again with Judy Heft here, and we were talking on the break about seasonal tax outfits, the H&R Blocks, the Jackson Hewitts, the couple of others who escaped me, and they have wonderful marketing campaigns. They've got great Super Bowl commercials. They're very entertaining. But is that everything one needs to know before they go knocking on the door of like one of the large commercial preparers?
You know what, I don't know if they're the best people to use, because a lot of people think they're going to go there and they're going to get a cheap return done. And that's not always the case, because I was saying before, I have this little old lady she's 93 years old, and I've been taking care of her for a few years, and prior to that she was using, one of the big companies, and they were charging her $100 for her return. And last year, when I started taking over that part of it, I brought it to a paid preparer, and it was $25. She had so little to do. I mean, maybe that was a little favor to me too, but I'm just saying there's such a wide range. I don't think it took this guy more than a half an hour to do her return. And, I think some of those big places, and certain other people too, maybe CPS, I'm not sure, but they charge by the amount of forms that they're filling out for you. Or, I've heard that some of them ask you for a percentage of your refund if you're lucky enough to get one.
And I don't know if that's necessarily an ethical practice, because what it does is it puts the, as a matter of fact, I think that's a violation of the practice rules, because what it does is it puts the preparer in the position of the more I stick you with, the more I get. I was coming down the steps of the tax court in, must have been in April of this year, was it May? It was just in the onset of spring, and poor young lady who was just maligned, and she was before the federal judge because she went to one of these places, which was a refund mill. Didn't know much. She was a working divorced mom, had a few pennies, and he was just taking mortgage deductions for houses she didn't own and contributions for charities that she never heard of. And I think it's an important thing to say that you are responsible, even though you hire somebody. You cannot divest your responsibility to another person.
You know what, and another good point, Tony, is also to think about if you are going to have an audit, are they going to be there to go with you or to speak to the IRS on your behalf? Or, like we said before, or is their door going to be locked?
In summer with a telephone number?
Yeah, are you going to be able to find them? Are they going to be, or even if you go, not one of the big ones, but even if you go to an individual that only does the tax returns and they do nothing else, like where are you going to find them?
Well, I think that's important, whomever you go to. I have people through here, and sometimes they're a great fit, and they see it and we see it, and that's great. Sometimes they're not quite right. We're not quite right for them, and I tell them, get somebody you work with, but whatever you do, get somebody who does this as a profession. It is a profession. Not somebody who does it and wants to bat the golf ball around every single day in June, July, and August. That's my personal
No, I agree with you 100% on that one, definitely. You want someone who's going to be accountable, who's going to be there if you need them.
For certain.
Yeah.
But it all comes back to records, and what record should one keep for how long, and what are some good ways of keeping records where I come from the days where you just logged warehouses with everything that you kept, and it gets a little expensive when you get on in years. I'm finding that out this year.
Well, now we're more electronic, so we can save things electronically, but I think that anything that goes on your tax return you need to save. You need to save your tax returns, I think it's for 7 years, and anything that's on there, any charitable contribution, mortgage statements, interest statements, if you paid alimony, child support, if you're a foster parent, adoption papers, so that those are all tax deductible things. Any capital improvements you should save. Just your most recent insurance policies. You don't need to save the old ones. Definitely have a crosscut shredder in your office or home office or house.
And just make sure you've got a good password protected file with good little e-folders in there with things, and will make things so incredibly easier. What happens with me is I very old and dear friend, I didn't realize that he's in his 90s. He has a baby sister who's, I don't think she's quite 70 yet, and she wants to reclaim her citizenship in the United States, but to do this, she has to file all of her back tax returns going back to the 1960s. Now, the forms are available, but it's the thing of, if, God forbid, you get hit with something like that, and these young people who have the benefit of electronic, keep the folders, for crying out loud. Ain't this something, you know?
That's
now,
daunting.
right. And she's looking at it and saying, I know I have to do it, but how is it possible? And you can only do it through quote-unquote good faith, but, you know, it's now it's just dirt easy. It's not like you have to move banker's boxes from place to
Right.
place to place, which I did for many years.
Yeah, so do I. Up in the attic, down in the basement, wherever we could store them.
Anyway, in our remaining time, you know, you've become a familiar face here, and, you know, you've been a great benefit to your own following and, you know, my viewers as well. Please tell everyone where they can reach you.
I can be reached, my offices are in Stamford and Greenwich, and my office number is 203-978-1858, or you can reach me at my website, which is judithheft.com. My email is judy@judithheft.com.
And make sure you call her, because if you don't and you're not paying attention to this information, woe be unto you. I can only tell you that it catches up with everybody. I believe our time is up. Once again,
Thank
I'm
you,
sad.
Tony.
Thank you
That's
so
fast.
much for being here.
Yes.
And we will be coming back very soon with our new friend, the sports doctor from WXLM, Keith O'Brien, right here on Connecticut Morning.